how well do you understand your team? I remember working with, okay, yes, they're under 15, so I classify them as, I think they were Gen Zs, but they were in school. So we got talking. It was a random conversation with young people, and I asked them, I think I was trying to differentiate to explain to them. We're talking about the war in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, and I was trying to explain to them what each news outlet means. It was a random conversation I had with young people. And I said, okay, I was trying to explain what it means when you, what the CNN news means, what the BBC news means, what the Al Jazeera news means, and how you must be able to read in between the lines. It was a random conversation that was not scripted. So I asked them, okay, where do you get your news from? And they all laughed and said, TikTok. And I thought it was a joke because they always, just normal for young people to do that. I said, no. I said, okay, no. I was like, CNN, TikTok. I didn't call TikTok. One said TikTok. And I laughed. I was like, okay, guys, you're joking, right? There's a TikTok. And I said, you mean, then it hit me. I had to pinch myself and said, okay, yes, it's true. It's that generation. Because irrespective of how much I'm talking about CNN, BBC, and Al Jazeera, and how all those news differ, they mean something different to this generation. To these younger ones, they get their news from TikTok. So it hit me at that point in time, and I had to readjust. And I said, okay. And like a joke, I think we had to watch TikTok to get the news. And they told me about the Strait of Hormuz and what was happening in Iran. And it dawned on me that sometimes you have to understand the generation you're dealing with for you to be able to pass on the message. Immediately, my conversation changed. But you see, prior to this, and I had to put some of them in the workplace where we had the under 22s who were working, and how much we tried imposing what was standard for us, irrespective of how real it is. That the best way for you to get a set of a new generation on board is to hear them, is to get where they are, is to understand what makes them excited. Then at the end of the day, you co-create to pass on the message. Because the youngest in the workplace would always speak the language of their generation. And for me, especially the Gen Zs we have at work, irrespective of how much I think my ability to meet them halfway helps them. What's the consequences? We understand so, without being told, and I'm not trying to make you feel good. There's a challenge in the next generation, which we all see. We understand that the consequences most times the challenge we have with the younger generation is the ability to explain what structure means and what grit is, because grit doesn't look like a language that is interesting to them. But I can explain grit to them in my high horses, staying up there. My ability to explain grit to them will be, if I want to pass on a message to them, will be using tools they understand, will be subtly explaining to them what grit means in the things they see, in the subtle things. Else, I'll be talking to myself. So if you take anything from this conversation, what I'm saying is this. For the younger ones at work, for the newest generation in the workplace, there has to be co-creation. But don't forget the message you want to pass on, because that's the only way you pass on something. But understand who they are, hear them well, and let's have a here, I heard you, but this is what it is. I know where you hang out, but this is where you are going to if you have to go there. That way we are able to make progression, because no matter how much it is, CNN also has a TikTok version. Everybody's going to TikTok, not because TikTok is a generational language for the younger generation, and it snaps down to Snapchat. So irrespective of how much we feel, we must always have versions that communicates the same message to the generation. That's the way we build growth. I'm rooting for you. My name is Charles Way.